I was thinking about this, guys. Jesus says, unless you become like a little child, you can't enter the kingdom of heaven. You know what little kids are? They're not ashamed of their bodies. You ever see a little kid, 3-4-year-old, running around naked, ripping his diaper off and running across the park? That dude or that girl, little kid, is not ashamed of their body. We learn to be ashamed of our bodies. We learn to think that our bodies are dirty. In fact, and we experience other people treating our bodies in dirty ways and improper ways, and then we start to, kind of adapt that into our mentality and our identity. And we start to treat others that way. It's like, oh, bodies are dirty and we got to cover them up, right? No. If we are to become more like a little child, we should become more comfortable with our bodies, more free in our bodies. Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about a disembodied Christianity. I don't know where to begin. Okay, here's where I'll begin. It is super ironic that Western American Christianity is so disembodied, considering that one of the main things Jesus did was come and put on flesh and become God embodied. Jesus came to embody God so that we could see God enfleshed. And then we turned Jesus' message, life, ministry way into a very disembodied religion. And that's so ironic. But look, guys, there's so many ways I could talk about disembodiment. But here's where I'll start. We're ashamed of our bodies. And we're uncomfortable in our bodies. We're even afraid of our bodies. We think our bodies are dirty, really. And so this dilemma in part was created by Paul in a lot of his letters when he refers to the sin nature in sin, or the fleshly nature, as sarx, the Greek word sarx. The word flesh is sarx, and it does mean the physical body. So he talks about the mindset on the flesh, the mindset on sarx, right? The mindset on the body is death. It's bad, right? But look, he says the mind set on the body. He doesn't say the body. So what does Paul mean when he says the mind set on the physical body is death? He doesn't mean that the physical body is bad. He means when you over-identify with your physical self, it will lead to death. Because you are a spirit and a soul and a body. You are primarily and centrally a spirit and a body. The real you is the spirit. So Paul's really, and you can read this in Romans chapter 7 and 8 especially, but there are just other verses, other books and letters that Paul's written that contain these ideas that he puts forth, the idea of the flesh versus the spirit, right? He's making a dichotomy, not because the spirit is good and the flesh is bad, right? He's making a dichotomy because the spirit is your truest self, and your mindset needs to have that personhood construct that you are a spirit and a soul and a body in order to come back to life in the way of Jesus, in the eternal life of Jesus, right? But it doesn't mean the body is bad. But traditionally, Christianity has translated Paul's concepts of spirit and flesh and the idea that the fleshly nature is bad into a disdain for the body, into treating the body as evil. And so in that sense, in that over disembodied Christianity, the idea is that we need to be very careful with the body because the body is evil and the flesh is evil, and you have to be very cautious because the flesh is, if you don't watch out, if you don't guard yourself against your fleshly urges and fleshly desires, you'll end up in deep sin and you'll end up in hell, right? This is the idea that has transpired out of Paul's conversations, an attempt to distinguish the difference between the mindset on the flesh and the mindset on the spirit. But he never, ever said the flesh was bad. Jesus actually, by the very Jesus, by the very act of putting on flesh, declares that flesh is good. And life in the body is good. Jesus took a body. He took on a body. He took on human form to declare once and for all that the body is good and life in the body is good. Jesus did not become sinful in taking on a body because the body is sinful, right? If our physical bodies were the problem and were naturally sinful, Jesus could not take on a physical body because Jesus couldn't take on a physical body and be without sin. Let's put it that way, right? But he did. Jesus, once and for all, declares that the physical body is good. Why? Because after God made the earth and every physical thing, he said, it is good, it is good, it is very good. The physical world, the material world in your physical body is good, and it is very good. And it is very good to experience life through your physical body and all the joys and pleasures that entails. Right? And here's the other problem with a disembodied Christianity is that you can't live life outside of your body. But what you can do and will do as you become more and more disembodied conceptually and even practically, you will be more detached from your body. You will be less in tune with your body. You will be less aware of your body, and you will be kind of fighting against what the body wants and the body needs and the body desires. And you will start to really try to sift through the body's desires as if the body itself is basically evil and what it desires is evil. But you can't do that. You can't live life apart from your body. But you can start to approach your body in a detached way. And then you're not in your body properly, you're not embodied properly, and then you will actually start to do things through your body that are not good. You'll be detached, and you'll actually treat other people's bodies in a detached way. This is what we often call, objectifying people's bodies. The more detached you are from your body, the more you will treat other people's bodies in a detached way, in an improper way. You'll treat them as some kind of object for your pleasure, and you'll actually try to use your body for pleasure in a detached way. And you will start to kind of have a more disdainful attitude towards physical things in general, but also other people's bodies, You won't be as in tune to what you're feeling in your body, what other people are feeling in their bodies as a result of what you're doing, right? Even what you're doing on a spiritual, emotional, mental level, like that affects the body. Everything you do as a spirit with a mind and a heart affects how you feel in your body. Guys, in our culture today, we are not feeling very good in our bodies. Why? Because we have a Christianity that has really separated us from our bodies, told us that our bodies are bad, and we have to be very careful about what we do in our bodies and what we feel in our bodies and how we experience pleasure in our bodies. Everything the body does, God made it to do. Everything the body feels, God made it to feel. All the goodness. Now, we're broken. Spirit, soul, mind, and body, we're broken. So there are things we feel in our bodies that aren't good, right? But that doesn't mean the problem is the body or in the body. It's actually not. The body suffers from the problem of sin. What is the thing that's the problem? Romans chapter 12 says, therefore, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Not body, right? The body has its errancy in the fall. That's, has its problems, its sickness, you could say. But Jesus points to actually the mind and the soul as the things that need saving. He says, what does it profit a man if he gain the whole world but lose his soul? Right? So Jesus points to the soul, and Paul points to the mind in Romans 12 as the things that need to be transformed. Why? Because it's your mind and the way that it is formed and set that is the problem. The body is not the problem, guys. That's what I'm trying to say. The body is not the problem. But we have a very disembodied Christianity, a very sexually repressed Christianity. And yet we're trying to experience the body in this way, and it's very unhealthy. It's very toxic. Like, I remember when my wife and I were first married, and she just kept telling me, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. She's like, I feel like we're still boyfriend and girlfriend, and it doesn't feel right. Well, that was one way she was dealing with this sexually repressed, disembodied Christianity that she had been taught. And still, I can tell you personally that even after being married for 20 years and being a Christian for 40, I am still unpacking a lot of the sexual repression and disembodiment that I was handed by my over puritanical Christianity. And that's another part of the history, especially of American Christianity, is that the Puritan movement, it wasn't the only Christian movement that was there at the beginning of the founding of America, but it was one of the dominant Christian traditions, the Puritan movement. The Puritan movement was very sexually repressed. The body's bad. Look at that. They wouldn't even wear bright clothing, and they certainly would try not to accentuate the body or show the body, right? And so America was born out of sexual repression and disembodiment, American Christianity, but it came from European Christianity, which to a degree was also sexually repressed and disembodied. Paul writes, "Do not taste, do not touch, do not handle. These things indeed have an appearance of piety and holiness, but they are destined to perish with the use." Paul right there says, this mentality of do not touch, do not taste, do not handle, meaning don't do this and don't do that and don't feel too much pleasure and don't enjoy, drinking a beer or smoking a pipe. Like he says, that is false piety, it's false religion. That form of Christianity which says don't taste this and don't touch that and don't feel this and don't experience that, and if it's pleasurable, it's probably bad. That mentality is destined to fail the more you try to do it. That's what he says. Well, think about it, guys. The more you repress your sexuality and your enjoyment of things, the more the urge grows, right? Repression is not a good way to solve or resolve desire. It doesn't. Guys, like what? Go take a cold shower? That's stupid. Woo! Not gonna work. It doesn't go away. The more you deny something, the more you abstain from it, the stronger the urges will grow. Repression and asceticism are not final solutions in dealing with things. There are times to withhold or fast from things, right? This is what we do in Lent, and we fast from eating. We may fast from eating certain foods. We may fast from social media. There's a purpose to that. But it, in and of itself, is not holiness. It does not, in and of itself, equal holiness. You are not more holy the less pleasurable things you deny. You are not more holy the more pleasurable things you deny yourself. That's not how it works. That is often what Christianity has been involved in, though. I was thinking about this, guys. Jesus says, unless you become like a little child, you can't enter the kingdom of heaven. You know what little kids are? They're not ashamed of their bodies. You ever see a little kid, 3-4-year-old, running around naked, ripping his diaper off and running across the park? That dude or that girl, little kid, is not ashamed of their body. We learn to be ashamed of our bodies. We learn to think that our bodies are dirty. And we experience other people treating our bodies in dirty ways and improper ways. And then we start to, kind of adapt that into our mentality and our identity. And we start to treat others that way. It's like, oh, bodies are dirty and we got to cover them up, right? No. If we are to become more like a little child, we should become more comfortable with our bodies, more free in our bodies. Doesn't mean I'm telling you to go run around naked. Woo! No. Go to a nudist beach, whatever. No. But you have to be more comfortable in your body, with your body. That's the thing, guys. You should love your whole self well, including your physical body. You should be gracious with your body. You should be, joyful with your body. You should experience goodness through your body, love through your body, peace through your body. All the fruits of the Spirit, guys, even though they are spiritual fruits, they do manifest in the body. And your body, just like your spirit, should feel love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, right? There needs to be a greater freedom, guys, in exploring and expressing ourselves physically. And I think the Pentecostal movement is a very embodied movement, and it really is the branch of Christianity that can help us understand what it means to be more embodied and to enjoy feeling the goodness of the Spirit through the body. And look at the charismatic movement. Like, just, they'll dance, they'll run around. They don't feel self-conscious about whatever they feel like doing in the middle of a service and expression to God. Just like David danced before God in his underwear. Did you know that? He felt such exuberance through the Spirit in a moment as the ark was being brought back to the temple that he danced in his underwear. And some people, guess what? Some people body shamed him for it. Woo! And they were wrong, and he was right. We need to be more free to express our God-given joy, spiritual joy, Spirit-filled joy through our bodies, whether that's dancing, whether it's laying in the grass, swimming in a river, giving someone a hug. We should not be afraid of our bodies and expressing the goodness of God and the love of God through our bodies to other people and their bodies. If we treated our own bodies better, we would treat other people's bodies better too. Ooh. It is written, if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. It is for freedom's sake that Christ has set you free, right? It's about freedom, guys. We need to learn to be more free in our bodies, to express ourselves freely through our bodies, right? And like, it's about balance. You don't go to extremes. Like, greed and lust are an overindulging mentality towards pleasure. Like, it's so extreme that it begins to control us, and that's not good or healthy either. But here's the path forward for all of us who are sexually repressed and disembodied, is we need to start to give ourselves permission and grace to be more free. And that means, guess what? To find the middle, when you're on the repressed side, to find the middle, you can't just go from repressed to the middle. You've got to the pendulum swings. You've got to find the opposite end of disembodied in order to find the middle. And that's just true in my journey spiritually and physically and mentally and emotionally. As God has invited me into healing, there's the pendulum swings, and I go too far. And then I go this way, and I go this way, and this is how it is, guys. This is the dance, the divine dance of freedom and goodness is, okay, God, I'm going to start to give myself permission to just be more free in my expressions and more free in my interactions. And whoa, I went too far there. Okay, I went too far there. This is why grace is so necessary in the journey. You've got to give yourself grace to fail and to make mistakes. Other people may not. You've got to give yourself grace, and you will go too far in the journey. But you've got to start to open the doors and start to just explore and search it out. For me, it's been a lot of different things. It's like God has so much invited me into my anger. He's just said, get angry. And I was like, anger was something I really feared because my dad was angry. He had a temper, and he would get abusive. And so I was like, God, I just couldn't. It was so hard for me to get angry. And he's like, just get angry, get angry, get angry, get more angry. And I was like, God, this is so wrong. He's like, maybe, but stop thinking about right and wrong right now and just let yourself be angry. And I was like, are you sure? I mean, it took years for God to invite me into my anger. He was just saying, be free in it. Until you experience the extremes of it, you can't find the middle between too much and too little. And that's the way it is. With anything, guys. I'm not telling you should go out and have an affair or go sleep around. I mean, that's not what I'm saying. You can be more expressive in your body without doing what you know isn't right. I struggled so much in my 20s with masturbation, thinking it was wrong, and yet I couldn't help it. I just couldn't keep from doing that, and yet every time I did it, I was repenting over and over, and yet I just couldn't get out of it, and I felt so bad about it. And now what I know in my 50s is that there's nothing wrong with it. It may not be the best expression of sex because I think sex is meant to be between two people, ultimately. But if you're a single guy or a single girl, God is not telling you to take cold showers and suck it up. Explore your body. I'm going to say it, and a lot of people are probably going to look at me cross-eyed or look down their nose at me. Explore your body. If you're not married, you're not meant to sit there and be sexually repressed and stuff it in and stuff it in. And this is why guys go to porn and why girls go to romance novels. Because you can't stuff it. And you can't repress your way out of sexual desire into freedom. Or out of sexual repression into freedom. Repression isn't the way, guys. I'm just going to tell you, explore your body. And the thing you find out when you explore your body, if you're unmarried, is when you get married, you'll be more comfortable with your body and your spouse's body, and you'll know what you like, and you'll be able to tell them what you like, and they will be able to tell you what they like, and there'll be a lot more freedom in the bedroom sexually with you and your spouse if you give yourself permission to be free and to explore and to enjoy. Look, even if you're married, I can tell you, your spouse isn't always going to want to have sex when you do. And God's solution isn't sit there and suck it up and bear through it. If your wife or husband is not in the mood, it doesn't mean you don't have the right to do something else. If your spouse isn't in the mood and you are extremely in the mood, it's okay. You can masturbate. God is not against masturbation. You have those desires. God didn't give you those desires to just laugh in your face and say, nah, you can't do them. You have them, ha ha ha. Now you got to sit there and bear through the pain. No. So, sometimes you got to take matters into your own hands. Woo, yeah. This episode of The Construction Monk is rated R. No, probably X. Woo, yeah. I'm just saying. Get over yourself. Get past your puritanical upbringing, your disembodied, sexually repressed upbringing as a Christian, and enjoy your body. Get over yourself. Get over yourself. Get past your puritanical upbringing, your disembodied, sexually repressed upbringing as a Christian, and enjoy your body. Enjoy your body. Enjoy your body. Your body. Your body.